Welcome everyone. This is the Braid and Tinker podcast. My name is Melanie and I am a knitter. And this is a video cast in which I talk a whole bunch about knitting. Derek's my boyfriend. He's downstairs watching a series. So if you hear like gun violence and shouting, it's not because I live in a dangerous neighborhood. Somebody's just got the television on really loud, which is fine by me. Just I don't want to like worry anybody. I live in Haarlem in the Netherlands and it's pretty safe, I would say. So this is the Rhinebeck weekend. If you don't know, Rhinebeck is it's actually called the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, and it happens every year around this time. And it's like, I don't know, like one of the biggest yarn festivals, wool festivals, sheep festivals in the world. And a lot of people are making their way to New York to watch some sheep and squish yarn and meet podcasters and meet knitwear designers and meet dyers and like have a great time in this beautiful setting of autumn leaves and apple cider and donuts and fantasticness. I'm not there because I live really far away and it's not very feasible for me to just fly over to New York to go buy some yarn because, but I do hope to go there one day. So everybody who has been to Rhinebeck, I hope they had a fantastic weekend. My weekend has been pretty chill actually. I haven't done a whole bunch. I cast on a new sweater yesterday. I had some coffee and cakes with friends this morning, early afternoon. It's been pretty chill and nice, which is good because last weekend we got back from holiday and sometimes it can be a little bit stressful. We were in Canada and then flying back to the Netherlands, like flying east is always terrible for jet lag. So we were struggling a little bit this week, but I think I'm back into normal rhythm. A normal rhythm, and I'm having a better time. I did catch up on some sleep this weekend, and the work week should be good again, I hope. Do you have that sometimes? Because I'm a software developer and I literally sat down at my desk on Tuesday thinking, I don't know what I do for work anymore, and I just found typing really hard, and I don't know. I found it really hard to sort of get back into it. And I'm on a new project for the company that I work for, and people were like asking me questions and like, I don't know. I do a very terrible impression of people. But do you have that when you're like on holiday and you get back and you just don't really know how to do your job anymore? And it took me, I think, a whole day and a half, maybe two, to sort of get back into the swing of it. The jet lag, I have to say, was not helping. So anyway, and I forgot, I went to the hairdressers yesterday. So my hair's a lot shorter. It probably doesn't look like that to most people because it still looks quite long. But I think I had like a good 20 centimeters cut off, which was all just, I don't know, my hair grows really, really fast. So yeah, and I don't really like going to the hairdressers. To be honest, I just find it weird to sort of sit in a chair and look at my face for like over half an hour while making small talk to a person who I don't know, and who I don't know, I probably don't have very much in common with, and I just find the whole thing super awkward. And So I hardly ever go. So I think I go to the hairdressers like once a year, and then above that I have really fast growing hair. So yeah, my hair is really, really long. And I was having sort of like hair management issues where when I was sleeping I would almost strangle myself because so I had to tie it in a knot, or not in a knot, like a top knot, and or I would do that in the mornings going to work because it was just too much to do anything with it. So now I've had like a whole bunch of it cut off and it feels so much nicer. And I don't know, I have to say I did really enjoy like the washing of the hair part, because the girl who was washing my hair was not the same girl as the one who was cutting my hair, but she I don't know, she just did like a little scalp massage and that was really nice. And then but the girl who was cutting my hair, I mean, she did a good job, but she at one point she was blow drying my hair. I feel like she was almost burning my scalp. That thing was turned up so high. So I told her it's really hot, you know, and it was like painful in one area. And she said, oh, you know, she said, oh, sorry. And she turned it down a bit. I was like, that's like, do they not like check to see if the hairdryer is like really on a very hot setting? It was a bit weird. Anyway, that's all over with, and I'll probably not go back to the hairdressers again next week. Anyway, this is not a video cast about things Melanie did in the weekend. This is about knitting, and one of the things I did this weekend was finish this shawl. Now my hair is in the way. This is the Adrift shawl. So yeah, I haven't blocked it yet because I'm currently blocking my what's it called? I'm currently blocking my Winterfjell sweater, and so when that's done and blocked, I can wear it and I can show it on the podcast. But I always use my yoga mat, which I don't use for yoga. I use that for blocking. But so it's occupied by the Winterfjell sweater, so I can block this. But I have to say it's so big and already quite relaxed that I've just been wearing it this weekend. But I think it will grow a little bit with blocking as well. The pattern is from Lane magazine number 5, and then on page 50 you can find the Adrift shawl, and the pattern is by Vera Valimaki, and I have to say I really like this. It's a crescent shape shawl, and I usually find that this top edge with crescent shapes it gets really tight, and I talked about this last episode. What I did was every time, because this is the first stitch in your row, because you knit kind of like in this direction back and forth, increasing stitches every time. And then what I did was every time I knit the first stitch, I would knit it, put it back on the left needle, knit it again, and then this edge is a lot more stretchier and looser. So yeah, this is, I would almost say, more of a half moon shape than a crescent shawl, which I prefer. So I got some comments on that explanation last episode, so I think I might record a tutorial about that, because I think it's a very useful, because I think a lot of people shy away from the crescent shaped shawls because they are afraid of that really tight top edge, and then you know what you get is that these bits to start curling in on each other, and it's kind of nice, but I think it really looks nicer if that top edge is a bit relaxed, and then you don't have to block the crap out of it to get it to lie flat. Anyway, side step. So this is the adrift shawl, needs to be blocked. I did weave the ends in. I've been wearing it all weekend, and I will block it somewhere this week when the yoga mat is free, when the Winterfjell sweater is dry. I have to say, I was blocking that in the bathtub because it's quite big, and it's taking a long time to dry. I guess it's also because the weather is a bit colder, but I did find that other sweaters that I've blocked this summer were much quicker in drying. So don't know what's going on there, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So that was my only finished object at the moment. I have a bunch of whips because I don't know, I cast on too many things. One of the whips, this is a project bag that I bought in Canada, and it's got a bunch of sleeping animals on it, and it is by J. Hendry Design. And I also talked about that last week. This is a grey patterned croy mild sock yarn that I also bought in Canada. This will be something that will be repeating itself. That I will be repeating a lot, and I cast on some socks and just plain vanilla, because I thought, ooh, you know what I'd like? Some big, like, grey vanilla squishy lovely socks. So I cast those on. I'm just finding, because this is a 2.25mm needle, which I usually use for sock knitting, maybe I should have gone to 2.5 or maybe even 2.75. So I might frog these and get a slightly bigger needle and start again. I haven't made up my mind yet. So these have been kind of sitting in this bag for a bit, with me not making a decision about that. In the airplane towards Canada, I started these socks, these very yellow socks, and last week I said I was going to put heels in them. I haven't done that yet, so they're still chilling out on my desk. Last week I was also asking if people would sign up for a test knit, because I'm currently designing a pair of mittens, and I'll just show the back of it, and it looks really, really boring, I think, because I'm not showing the design. So I do think I wanted to show you this bottom part because I've cast it on with a braided cast on, and it kind of gives you this little effect with a tiny braid on it. I think it's so cute. So yeah, watch out for that when that comes out. That will be pretty well. I'll hopefully have the pattern ready for the testers somewhere soon. Although I have to say, my next cast on is really distracting. A couple of weeks ago, I decided I wanted to knit the Arboreal sweater by Jennifer Steingass. So I got the pattern and I got some Lopi yarn to knit it with, and I think I was busy with some other stuff, but I cast it on last night because I could not wait any longer. And this is it, and stuff is falling down. I'm using these two colours. This is just Let Lopi. And I have to say, this is my first time knitting with this, and it is, I have to get used to it a bit because it's very almost crunchy feeling yarn, and there's like little bits of hair all over the place, and it's not always the way in the pattern that you're supposed to increase stitches. The stitches are like increased. They lie so close together that's really easy to knit it as one stitch, again, and then you just decrease, like you kind of increase and then immediately decrease. So you really have to pay attention. I have to say, the way that she explains that increase, or at least the way that she does that increase, does make for a very nice looking increase. So, that's just how it goes, I guess. As you can see, I'm not very far. And you may have noticed that I'm doing some steek stitches in the front, because I'm going to knit this as a cardigan. So in the end, I'm just knitting it in the round at the moment, making it into a type of sweater, and then in the end, when it's done, I'll cut it open and put button bands on the front, and then it will be a cardigan. So the other thing I changed was Jennifer Steingass has on her sweaters a lot of rolled hem necklines, and I don't really like that. And I think because I'm going to knit it into a cardigan, and I will have to pick up stitches to get the button bands on, I just wanted to do 1x1 ribbing so that the neckline would not look weird with the button band. So I've done that. So the reason it looks like I'm not very far, even though I cast this on yesterday, is because I ripped out what I did yesterday and started again this morning. I just felt it was I did swatch, but I have to admit I don't really swatch properly. I just swatched a flat piece of knitting and decided my gauge was okay-ish, and I guess in the round I do knit a bunch tighter. So I just felt it was getting really sort of like a dense, not nice to knit piece. And so this morning I frogged it, got a bigger size needle, and so I'm knitting with that. Because this yarn is slightly thicker than in the pattern suggests, and because I'm knitting a bit on a bit larger needle, I was falling in between two sizes, and I'm doing the smaller one. I'm also knitting a cardigan, so I'm not really. I usually wear my cardigans like open, not closed, so I'm not really worried if it's like a tighter, not a tight, but a tight fit. If it's like not got massive positive ease. So I think that's going to work out, and I really like how it looks now as opposed to the knitting I had yesterday. There's one more thing I changed, because the way that the pattern repeats itself is it's a leaf pattern. I'll put in a picture. So the yoke is a leaf pattern, and if you imagine these are like the lines of stitches going down for the leaf at the end, say this is the beginning of the round, this is the end, you wouldn't have this first row and then it would like line up, I guess, like this. Because I'm doing a steek, I essentially want this kind of duplicated, because I'm cutting down or up, it doesn't really matter. So I want these two leaf patterns to be mirror images of each other. So I'm adding an extra line of stitches to what will be the left front side of the cardigan. And this is the first time I'm steeking or knitting in preparation of a steek. So I have no idea what I'm doing, but I think, thinking about how I would cut the garment and how that is going to work out, I think I did the right thing. Yeah. I've never cut a steek before. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm sure it will be fine, is my motto for life. Yeah, so that's that. And then this has my little pumpkin pie stitch marker from Tiny Sugar, which is a Etsy store from Portugal. Yes. I'm a little bit weird today. I don't know why. It might be the coffee. It could be that I had a piece of cake for lunch instead of actual lunch. So I don't know. Weirdness. Because I was feeling a little bit sorry for myself yesterday that I was not going to Rhinebeck, and that I saw all these lovely Rhinebeck happy pictures on Instagram. After I went to the hairdressers, I went to the Body Shop, and they have this vanilla pumpkin hand cream, which is a limited edition, and it's called Fall for Pumpkin, and the smell is vanilla and pumpkin, and it's so good. And I'm really regretting only buying one, because this is definitely my kind of scent. I got the bigger body, I think it's the body butter as well, but I think I might get another one of these, or maybe more, to put in my project bags, because holy shit, this smells so nice. I hadn't been into the Body Shop for a long time. When I was a kid, it was like one of the only sort of like stores that had nicely scented body stuff. Of course, there's like a bunch now, and I don't know, it's not really, I'm not super interested in that anymore. But I saw this, that they had this, and I just thought, I have to get this. It's like everything I love in a tube. And it's got a little pumpkin on it, and it's got a little death skull thing. I love that. So really happy with this. Totally recommend if you like pumpkins and you like putting cream on your hands. I think that's it. I'm planning to knit. I have some drops yarn in a golden colour because I want to knit a cardigan for my son, who is 3 years old. I haven't really decided on a pattern yet, so if you have a good idea for a cardigan for a 3-year-old, let me know. I'm not prepared to knit a steek for him, so it just has to be like a cardigan pattern. So if anybody has a good idea for that, please let me know and put it in the down bar below. That would be great. So what else is going on? Not a whole bunch. Next week is I don't know, we're getting closer and closer to Christmas, and I feel like I'm getting like less and less enthusiastic about it. I don't know why. Christmas can feel like such a sort of like a production, and we're not really doing anything even for Christmas. It's just that, we do have like families, and you do want to do like presents, and I love getting presents and I love giving presents, but it's always like, it's like this thing to sort of like get your mind into, and I don't know. But on the Ravelry podcast group for this podcast, and you can find it on Ravelry if you look for the Braid and Tinker podcast group, there is a Stashmas knit along, which is just going to run until the end of Christmas. And there's been so many finished objects in the finished objects thread already. So that's been really inspiring to look at that and to, I don't know, get inspiration for Christmas. It's just always really amazing to see the generosity of knitters and to see the wonderful things they are making for other people. I find it really nice. So if you are making stuff for Christmas and you're using stash yarn for that, check out the Stashmas knit along on the Braid and Tinker podcast group, and there's an finished object thread and a chatter thread, and I kindly request that you do not post chatter in the finished object thread because I will have to remove it. Yes, so I think that's it for this episode. Hope to see you guys again soon, and I hope that my arboreal sweater will have a bit more work done to it. And yeah, have a lovely end of the weekend. I'll probably, this is because it's Sunday today, I'll probably upload this on Monday. So I hope you have a nice week, and if you've been to Rhinebeck, have had a wonderful weekend. And if you didn't go to Rhinebeck, I hope your weekend was equally fun and fantastic. And I hope to speak to you guys again soon. Bye. Oh, one more thing. If you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up because that really helps me. It tells YouTube that this video is something that knitters like to watch, and then hopefully it will suggest this video to more knitters. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.